Good afternoon, scholars. Welcome to history. We've got a second page of notes we're going to write and fill out about the fall of Rome and what was going on during the Roman Empire. Again, you got to put your name up at the top, put the date, September, whatever the day is today. Add that if you're not sure. Ask mom and dad or consult your calendar. All right, so fill in your name at the top. All right, and I will write my name, Mrs. Brown. All right. Now remember when we did our map and we read our story, we talked about a very important city. What was the most important city in the empire? Do you remember? If I look at my map, we circled it in purple. That's right. Rome was the most important city in the Roman Empire. And that information, too, is in our book. So you have to look and see where the information is in that first chapter that we read. But it talks about Rome being the most important city in the Roman Empire. We're kind of going back to the beginning, the wandering through the Roman Empire, but that's okay. So we're going to write Rome. Well, it's a city, it's a name, and it's also the beginning of a sentence, so we need to capitalize it. But we don't capitalize it because it's the beginning of a sentence. We capitalize it because it's the name of a city. So Rome was the most important city in the Roman Empire. So I'm going to write Roman Empire. And we know that Roman Empire is the name of an empire, so we're going to capitalize it too. And I can look on my map to help me spell this if I want to. Roman Empire begins with an E. Empire. Rome was the most important city in the Roman Empire. All right, the next thing says to list 3 events that took place in the Colosseum. And if I look on page 2, I know that it talks about the Colosseum right down here at the bottom. It talks about the Colosseum. This must be the Colosseum, the huge amphitheater where gladiators fight to the death, chariot racers careen around a track, and lions battle with Roman soldiers for entertainment. So I'm going to write those 3 things right here. Now I don't have to write those whole sentences because these are just notes. So in notes, we don't have to write a whole sentence. So first thing I saw was gladiators fight. So I'm going to write gladiators. There's that G. We've been talking about it. It's a rule breaker. So make sure it goes below the line. Gladiators. Gladiators. This is one time it's not the ER, it's the OR. Gladiators fight. We've got to put fight because it's kind of what they did in the Colosseum. So gladiators fight. What's another thing that happened in the Colosseum? You're right, there were chariot races. So I'm going to write chariot races. And again, I can look in my book at the bottom of page 2. Ch. Ooh, I hear an H, brother digraphs. Ch. CH, I know it makes the CH sound. A-R-I-O, and what do I hear then? Chariot, a T. Chariot. We say chariot, but it's really like chariot. Races, R-A-C-E-S, because it's more than one. Chariot races, and 3 lions battle with soldiers. So I'm going to put lions, don't have to be capitalized, lions battle, B-A-T-T-L-E, lions battle soldiers. So 3 events that took place. Gladiators fight, chariot races, lions battle soldiers. And another interesting fact, you can put a 4 if you like, and put down they were sea battles. They'd flood the bottom of the Colosseum, the arena where all these things happened. They would line it with leather and flood it with water, and they would have mock sea battles happening in there too. So I think I am going to put that 4 sea battles. Very little known fact that happened in the Colosseum. Sea battle. So I just squeezed it in there. You don't have to, but that's just kind of an interesting fact, right? All right, remember, you can pause this at any time to catch up. The blank of Rome was called the blank. So we're talking about the ruler. What was the ruler of Rome called? He wasn't a president. He wasn't a king. He was called, do you remember? Clear the way for the emperor. So he was called the emperor. So we're going to write that down. He wasn't a president. He was an emperor. And we do not have to capitalize it here because we're not talking about just the emperor, like so-and-so Claudius or whatever. So we're just talking about the title of what he was called: president, king, queen, emperor. So E-M-P-E-R, and here's another one that's an O-R. It's a person. Usually if it's a person, it ends in O-R, like doctor, but teacher ends in an E-R, so it's just things you have to figure out and know. But emperor. All right. Oh, you all know this. What does Pax Romana mean? Pax Romana means, you're right, Roman peace. Remember, it was working really, really well down through Gaul and Italy and Egypt, but it wasn't working well in Britain where the Celts were. So we're going to write Roman peace. R-O-M-A-N, because this is a name of something. Roman, and Roman is capitalized, excuse me. Roman peace. P is a rule breaker, so make sure it falls beneath that line. Roman peace. Anytime you're writing, make sure you're practicing good handwriting skills. You want people to be able to read all those words you wrote. You spent all that time writing, so make sure it's legible. Practice it as you're writing. This is the perfect time to practice your handwriting skills. All right, I'm going to reread this page so you can check your work with me. Rome was the most important city in the Roman Empire. List 3 events that took place in the Colosseum: gladiators fight, chariot races, lion battle soldiers, and also you could put sea battles if you want. The ruler of Rome was called the emperor. What does Pax Romana mean? Roman peace. And then down here, this is you filling in with anything you've found interesting or another fact you learned about the Roman Empire from when we read our story. Write another interesting fact you learned about the Roman Empire. And I would just begin it with, I learned. So you're going to want to answer your sentence in the whole sentence. I learned, and then you're going to write. So here, part of the question was something you learned, so just change that. I learned that the royal color was purple. I learned that Celts painted themselves blue and spiked their hair with animal grease. I learned that Diocletian divided the empire into 2. I learned that barbarians didn't live like the Romans. Whatever you found. I learned Diocletian appointed 2 junior emperors called Caesars. Think about something else you learned that we didn't write on our note pages and add that here. All right? Again, I'm going to be grading this paper, so make sure that your parents take a picture of it or you show me in a video. And I need to be able to read the words, so if it's blurry and I can't read them, I'm going to ask you to resubmit it. So make sure you fill that in, use your best handwriting, pause it, come back if your hand gets a cramp, but make sure you complete it at some time. All right? All right, guys, go out and do great things.